Welcome back to All About the Sound. We're going to continue with our little presentation on Chapter 2 of the book when we're dealing with something called affixes and word roots. More particularly in this presentation, we're going to talk about the spelling rules that apply when we are adding our affixes to our word roots. Spelling, of course, is how we represent what we're hearing and what is being meant in a word. So, meaning again, when in this chapter 2 where we U-turned our way away from sound, which is the major focus of this book and these presentations, to meaning, morphemes. Morphemes, of course, are the basic unit of meaning found in each word part. Last presentation, we talked about 3 major morphemes that we will see in a word. The word root, which holds the major meaning of the word, and the prefix, which comes before the word root at the beginning of a word, which is bound, meaning that it cannot stand alone as a word, as the word root can. And the last one we talked about was the suffix. And the suffix, of course, occurs at the ending of a word after the word root. And though it changes the word meaning by being attached to a word root, it cannot stand alone as a word. So let's continue with the spelling rules that will apply when we add affixes to word roots. So let's look at the rules for attaching prefixes to roots or suffixes to word roots. Now we ask the question, does the spelling of the word root change when we add prefixes or suffixes? Though word roots do not often change in spelling when adding affixes, sometimes they will, especially when we're dealing with plural suffixes. So yes, sometimes we will have to change the spelling of the word root itself. Does the spelling of prefixes change when we add them to word roots? No, the spelling of prefixes do not change, nor does the word root change in spelling when we add prefixes. So just remember, whenever you're adding a prefix, just connect it, no changes needed. Do you remember our example from the last PowerPoint? Frost was the word root, F-R-O-S-T. We added the D-E, the D, which means not or opposite of, and we ended up with defrost. All we had to do was attach the prefix. When we're attaching prefixes, we do not have to change the spelling of the prefix or the word root. Just attach the prefix. So, if the word root is turn, and we add the prefix re to it, which means to do again, return, to turn again. Return the clothing to the store when they don't fit. Un plus done, undone. There is no change in spelling. Dis plus agree. We're starting with a vowel sound, and still there is no change in spelling. Disagree. Ear and regular. Remember, we used ear instead of in when we have our R starting the word root. So we end up with irregular. There is no change in spelling of either the word root or the word or the prefix. Irregular. The shape of that is irregular. Re-examine. Re-examine, we have 2 vowels, one at the end of the prefix and one before the word root. Re-examine. Let's re-examine what we just talked about. As in irregular from the previous slide, we won't always use in for not. In is the most commonly used prefix to explain not in front of a word root. But there are 3 ways to express it instead of in. We can use im, il, and ir, and all these prefixes mean not. Now we will use im instead of in front of a word that starts with M or P, as in immature. Im plus mature, the M is the first letter of mature, equals immature. We used im instead of in. Important. Important starts with P. We do not use in, we use im. Important. We can use IL in front of words that start with word roots that start with I, or L, sorry. So we do not use in, we use ill, illegal. Ill plus legal, illegal. We can use IR in front of words that start with R, irregular, irregular. So though we will never change the spelling when we add a prefix, and we will occasionally change the spelling in a word group, that change usually occurs with the suffix. Most of the spelling changes changes that are made come when we add suffixes. Now there are 5 spelling rules related to suffixes and adding them to word roots. 5 rules for the spelling of suffixes. Suffix spelling rule 1, the first rule for spelling suffixes. When word roots end in 2 consonants, just add the suffix. No other spelling changes are made. So let's look at the example of pressure, as in blood pressure, taking your blood pressure. Press, P-R-E-S-S, plus the suffix ure, U-R-E, pressure, pressure. No other spelling is needed to change. Then we have that suffix ing, which means a verb, something we're doing right now, present tense. So if we are working right now, work, W-O-R-K, we just add ing, and there's no other change needed to make working. We are working now. And ed, which means the past, something that has happened or was done in the past. Scratch, S-C-R-A-T-C-H, we add the ed suffix to that, and we got scratched. The cat scratched my face yesterday. No change in spelling other than the adding of the suffix. Now let's look at the adverb quickly, meaning this is something that describes a verb, describes an action. Quick, Q-U-I-C-K, plus ly, which is our suffix, becomes quickly. He ran quickly across the field. Quickly. No change in spelling other than the adding of the suffix. Suffix spelling rule 2. In words that have a short vowel sound, meaning you will not hear the A, the E, the I, the O, or the U or U sound inside that word, and end with a single consonant, we always double the consonant before adding the suffix. Double the consonant before adding the suffix. So, in the action word swim, swim, we're not hearing the I, we're hearing the short version of it, the S sound, swim, and it ends with one M. We double the M before adding the ing. So swimming, we double the M. We now have 2 M's, S-W-I-M-M-I-N-G, meaning that I am swimming in the pool now. So what about if we add the suffix to one of those words that has a short vowel sound and one consonant at the end? Means a person who does. So we have run, R-U-N. We have a short U sound. We're not hearing the U in that word. We're hearing the sound. And it ends with just one N. So now we know we need to double that N before we add the So we'll end up with runner, R-U-N-N-E-R. She was the fastest runner in the marathon. And what if we add that action, suffix that refers to an action done in the past, the ed. So once again, we have a word root that has a short vowel sound, a instead of a, and a t at the end, just one single t. So instead of writing B-A-T-E-D, we double that T, batted, B-A-T-T-E-D. He batted last in last evening's game. So we're now on suffix spelling rule 3, the third rule for spelling suffixes. For word roots that end in a consonant followed by a Y, we change the Y to I before adding the suffix. So we have a word root that ends in a consonant, then it is followed by a Y. So let's look at this example. Penny, P-E-N-N-Y. It ends in the N consonant followed by a Y. Remember, Y is one of our vowel sounds that can replace the I sound. So here it is acting as a vowel. But we cannot add our suffix until after we change that Y to an I. So penny, P-E-N-N-Y, plus less, meaning not having any, or enough. And here we will have the spelling penniless, P-E-N-N-I instead of Y, L-E-S-S. So in happiness, happy, H-A-P-P-Y, when it's spelled alone as happy. But if we're going to add a suffix to it, we need to change that Y to an I. Why? Because it ends in a consonant followed by the Y. So before that Y, I have another consonant P. So now I have to change the Y to I. And what will we get? Happiness, H-A-P-P-Y-I-N-E-S-S. Now let's look at funniest. So we have funny. So if I want to talk about someone who is funnier than funny, the funniest person in the room, I will change that Y to an I. Again, preceding the Y is a consonant. So the rule is for any word root that ends in a consonant sound followed by the Y, we change the Y to I. Funny, we change that Y to I before adding est. So you have F-U-N-N-I-E-S-T. Now we're on the fourth spelling rule, suffix spelling rule 4. If the word root ends in a vowel and the suffix begins with a vowel, we'll drop the first vowel. So we'll drop the vowel at the end of the word root. So let's look at this. This is especially true if those vowels are the same. Okay? So in Sue, said O-O, I end with an O. And in ology, the suffix that means the study of Sue. Sue just refers to animals. The study of animals. I begin with an O. So I'm not going to have Sue with 3 O's. I am going to have Sue said O-O. I'm going to drop the O off of said and just attach the O-L-O-G-Y to that word root to form Sueology. We've lost an O. Now this rule also applies to the silent E. E is used to make a vowel sound in a short word long, okay? But that E, if it's a silent E, will be dropped before adding the suffix. So let's look at debate, D-E-B-A-T-E. Now in debate, I don't hear that ending E anyway. It's silent, because it's just used to make the A in debate long. So when I am adding my suffix able, which means that we can debate, we are going to drop the E on from the word root before adding the suffix. So it becomes D-E-B-A-T-A-B-L-E. That topic of conversation is debatable. What you call the truth is debatable. And now we're at our last suffix spelling rule, suffix spelling rule 5. T can often replace ed as a suffix in certain words, and T and ed refer to past tense of a verb, okay, an action word. So let's look at the word learned. I want to attach it as to something that I learned yesterday in school. I will add the ed and it will become learned. I can say I learned yesterday in school, or instead of the ed, I can attach a t. I learnt in school yesterday. So you see there's two variations of the spelling there. Now, there are some times that we will always use the T instead of the ED. And these are a few words where we will always replace that past tense suffix ED with T in certain action words. So instead of say bend is our present. So if I bend today, I bent yesterday, B-E-N-T. I feel well today, I felt well yesterday, F-E-L-T. We've dropped an E inside the center too. Keep, I will keep good company. I kept good company yesterday. K-E-P-T. I will leave, or she will leave in the morning. She left yesterday morning. L-E-F-T. We've even changed that vowel sound again. I will lend you money, or I lend you money now. And I lent you money yesterday. L-E-N-T. You will lose all that you own, or she lost all that she owned yesterday or last year, L-O-S-T. I do not mean to hurt you now, or she never meant to hurt you yesterday. M-E-A-N-T. So we've added that T in these words instead of the ED. Now, the spelling of the suffix, as you are seeing now and we'll see in the next slide, can change a lot when we add the T instead of ED. We may have to change the vowel spelling for the sound that we're hearing, or we may have to change something else within the word. So be mindful of the spelling changes that occur in the word room when we add that suffix T instead of ED. Or we can use T or ED in some words. We have that option. You can use burned for I burned the toast yesterday, or I burnt the toast yesterday. I can add T, B-U-R-N-T. I dreamed about you last night, or I dreamt about you last night, D-R-E-A-M-T. She kneeled before the queen or the king. He knelt before the king or the queen, K-N-E-L-T. You'll see that the vowel sound is also changed in this as well. He leaped over the fire, or he leapt over the fire, L-E-A-P-T in the second column. She leaned against the tree, or she leant against the tree, L-E-A-N-T. I learned that yesterday, or I learnt that yesterday. She smelled the fire before she seen it yesterday, or she smelt the fire before she seen it yesterday. We changed the S-M-E-L-T, dropped an L, and added a T. I spelled that wrong. She spelt that wrong, S-P-E-L-T. Again, we dropped the L and added the T. So when we're adding a T in word roots that have two L's, we'll drop one of the L's. She spilt the milk He spilt the milk. Again, we dropped an L, S-P-I-L-T. The eggs were spoiled, S-P-O-I-L-E-D, or the eggs were spoiled, S-P-O-I-L-T. So what have we learned about spelling with affixes so far? We have learned that we will occasionally change the spelling of the word root when we attach a suffix. We will never change the spelling of a word root or the prefix when we attach a prefix. We will change the spelling of a word root and the suffix when we add a suffix to the word root. And there are 5 suffix spelling rules to remember. Number 1, just add the suffix to word roots that end with 2 consonants. No changes are needed. Number 2, double the ending consonant in word roots that have short vowel sound and end with 1 consonant. Number 3, we change Y to I in word roots that end with a consonant sound followed by a Y. Number 4, we drop the vowel at the end of a word root to add a suffix that begins with a vowel, especially if those vowels are the same or if the magic E or silent E is at the end of the word root. Number 5, you may have to use T instead of ED to create past tense after certain word roots. So those are our 5 suffix spelling rules that we talked about in this presentation. There will be a review of all these PowerPoints for Chapter 2 at the end of our next presentation. So for now, just take in what you've learned, and we'll go on next time to learn about how we add suffixes in order to make a word plural, meaning more than one. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you again next time.